up, everybody, and welcome back to the next episode of the HMA Fantasy Wrestling Podcast. I am your host, Jacob Hughley, and I am joined again today by my main guys, Seth Gross, Earl from the Open Mat, and Jack Mueller. How are you doing today, Jack?
Doing well. Just ready to talk some wrestling. Just watched some crazy matches, so I'm fired up.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Before we jumped on here, they got me to watch the Caldwell-Lang match from 2007, and that's absolutely wild. I would definitely suggest you go watch that if anybody's listening.
If you have a minute and 40 seconds of your time, it is worth it.
Absolutely wild. Well, anyways, let's keep moving on. Seth, how are you doing today?
Doing pretty well, man. I'm extremely sore today. So I've been doing a lot of running and calisthenics, and I just lifted for the first time in a while yesterday, and I'm feeling it big time today. But besides that, I'm doing pretty well.
Yeah. Very cool. Yeah. I'm excited to get going, man. This thing's going to be a lot of fun. But how are you doing today, Earl?
Can't complain. Feeling good. Ready to talk some wrestling.
Did you get picked up by the Washington Nats?
No, unfortunately, that was about an order I placed. I forgot about it, and I saw my phone ring with their number yesterday. I was like, what in the world is that?
Very cool. Yeah, I liked how I commented on it. It was like, what's that about? And I get a poll back. It's are they calling me up? Am I going to be a hat model? All these other kind of things. I definitely voted hat model. I think that was the one to pick.
Yeah, that's ended up being my trademark, I guess. I didn't necessarily intend for that to happen, but
yeah,
I know Coach Bono tried to convince me it was a Wisconsin hat at one point.
Yeah, man. But all right, well, I mean, we can go ahead and get into this thing. Before we start, I know that we usually have one more person on here with us. Sam and Jude are both doing wrestling things and are very busy, but we do have a special guest today, and nobody knows except for me, so this one's going to be fun. So I'm going to go ahead and let him in, and you guys will have a fun surprise. So here he comes.
Yes.
All right, so Mr. Sam Hazewinkle, I don't know if you can hear us yet. We'll probably have to check and make sure the audio is all good, but can you hear us, Sam? Maybe not.
You guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Can you hear us? Nope, not yet.
I can't hear you.
Oh, man. All right, well, we'll give him a second to get working on that, and we'll just go ahead and start moving a little bit. As soon as we get him in, we'll take a second to talk to him. But can y'all see my screen?
Yeah.
All right. So as he gets that set up, we'll go ahead and start talking a little bit. So we're going to be getting into the next quadrant of duels today. The first one's going to be 2013 versus 2011. And then we're going to drop down and do 2012 versus 2007. Sam, can you hear us? Nope. Oh, it looked like it. But anyways, the how we've gotten to this point is on the other side. We finished the first half of the round of 16, and we had 2005 taking the win over 2008, 22-10. 2015 took the win over 2006, 21-13. And 2018 took the win over 2009, 22-9. 2016 took the win over 2010, 16-15. That was an absolute barn burner. And man, I'm excited to get this going. But I'm trying to make sure that we can get in contact with Sam. I can see him down here. I can hear him, but he can't hear us. So maybe try some headphones.
Dude, speaking of sore, man, I wrestled for the first time yesterday. And I wrestled with this kid that, like I love him, but he's kind of, like, spazzy in terms of just clubbing super hard. And my neck is destroyed right now. I'm hurting so bad. And And we like, so first time back in a while, it's like we started like drilling, and then it turned into a spar, and then he was like, all right, first to 5 takedowns, and I was like, all right, let's do this. and
Then the clubs
and-
came even harder.
yeah, exactly. And then by that time the mats were just drenched, and I slipped, and he fell on my knee. And,
Hello.
and
Hey, can you hear us?
cut bad right over his eye, just gushing
Jeez.
blood.
Oh, man, why is it that every time you get out of wrestling for just a little bit, it's not even that long, and you go back into it, it's always the neck, always. Like, I don't know, nothing else is like that bad, but yeah, same thing. Every single year, getting back into wrestling. Like, I'm a coach. I'm not even going like you guys are.
Hey, here we
And
are.
yeah, I mean, it's wild. My neck, I can't move my neck for 2 weeks. But can you hear us now, Sam?
I can. I had a
Awesome.
second string plugged in, and it stole my hearing for some reason.
You're good. No worries.
I'm not computer savvy, I guess. What's up, fellas?
What's
Nothing
up?
much.
Morning.
All
Yeah.
right.
How you doing today?
I am doing better. I won against the computer. That's always a good day. No Terminator's going to take me out.
It's awesome. I know that this is gonna be fun, man. We've been wanting to get you on for a little while. You've been following us, and we really appreciate you tuning in and not being too mad at us. But
I'm not a sore loser at all.
nah, it's all for fun, man. It was a good time.
Absolutely, it's for fun.
Hey, you're still
I'm
the best
glad I
and never
couldn't
winner
hear.
in my mind.
I appreciate that, Jack. Good man. Us little guys do stick together.
Yeah, for
Us
sure.
and like heavyweights. You always
Yeah.
had the little guy with the big guy.
Makes
So
no
then we
sense.
Yeah, we can pick on everybody else. It allows us to pick on all the other weights, and then we hide behind the heavyweight.
Exactly. Perfect.
Yeah, you have to. I love your guys' intro, though. Sad I didn't get to hear it.
Yeah.
It's the best intro on podcasts.
Oh, thanks,
Good.
man. Yeah, you talking about the music at the beginning?
Yeah.
Yeah, my so my little brother does a bunch of he composes, songs and stuff like that, and that actually wasn't his, but one of his good friends. So that's pretty cool that I got to use that. I like it a lot.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but
Agreed.
all right, we'll go ahead and get into it. I mean, we brought you on to talk wrestling, so might as well get talking some wrestling.
Let's do it.
Sweet. So let's go. The first duel that we're going to talk about today is going to be 2013 versus 2011. This thing is absolutely stupid. I mean, I don't know if you guys have looked at this much, but like some of these matchups, I don't know. I started looking at them and my head hurt and I couldn't pick. And so I was like, all right, I'll just wait till later and it'll be a spur of the moment decision.
Yeah, and the fact that 3 guys show up twice, pretty crazy.
Yeah, we got Jordan Oliver, Kyle Dake, and Quentin Wright all in here twice, and they're obviously on different teams.
Weights.
I think both the Hodge winners are against each other here too. Burroughs and Dake are the Hodge winners, I believe.
Yeah.
Oof.
Man, this is gonna be crazy. I don't think that it's probably a question. I think we're probably gonna end at 165, right?
Oh yeah, let's do it.
Cool. Awesome. So before we jump into 174 and kick it off, let's just roll through our lineups real quick on either side. And 2013, who has 2013? Earl?
I do, yeah.
Awesome. Earl, just tell us a little bit about these guys on the lineup for 2013.
All right, you got 6 undefeated NCAA champions here. You got Jesse Delgado, 125, 133 Logan Stieber, 141 Kendrick Maple, 149 Jordan Oliver, 157 Derek St. John, 165 Kyle Dake, 174 Chris Perry, 184 Ed Ruth, 197 Quentin Wright, and heavyweight Tony Nelson.
Stacked. All right. The other side, 2011.
Yeah, that's me. I get Anthony Robles, Jordan Oliver, Kellen Russell, Kyle Dake, Bubba Jenkins, Jordan Burroughs, John Reeder, Quentin Wright, Dustin Kilgore, and Zach Ray.
And these are two stacked lineups. I mean, this is easily probably the craziest duel that we've done out of any of these projects we've done. I think this is really going to be awesome. So we'll start off at 174. Chris Perry versus John Reeder. Man, go ahead and kick us off a little bit about Chris Perry, Earl.
All right, this is junior year Chris Perry. He is a two-time All-American now, was third as a sophomore, first as a junior. He beat in the quarterfinals Nick Heflin, semis Robert Kokesh, finals Matt Brown. Each of those matches went to sudden victory or tiebreakers. He also won the Southern Scuffle that year, beating Logan Storley, and he was 36-2 for the season.
Man. The other end of things, he was your coach, and now he's your co-coach, I guess. John Reeder. Tell us about John Reeder, Seth.
Yeah, so I guess I might know this guy a little bit, but yeah, John Reeder here at this time. This is his senior year, three-time All-American, one-time national champ. His senior year, he bonused in 27 out of his 38 matches. And, he's on fire his senior year. I think he's also the year he didn't place. He was the 1 seed and ended up not placing, but he had an amazing career. And John Reeder's famous. Everybody knows his picture of kind of his head wrap going on and the big old flex. And so that was at that national title he won. And, so that's John Reeder.
Man, if there's one picture on the internet that you can look at and just immediately be like, I want to run through a wall right now, that might be it.
Yeah, I think he's got one in his office, and every time I see it, it's so cool.
Yeah, you see that picture, I'm like, all right, I'm going to go run 5 miles and do all kinds of crazy stuff. But, yeah, I mean.
It's his personality.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he's always fired up, man, always.
Yeah, so – how are we thinking with this one, maybe stylistically? I'm interested to hear what some people got to say. Sam, do you have a take on this one?
Oh, man, they were both good, and I agree with the stylistic. You have the technician versus the goer, and I'm leaning toward Reeder right now. I'm curious to hear both sides a little more, but I know growing up, my dad always said, when all else is, conditioning's number one. Conditioning's what's going to win it. And you come down to both them on a good year, and I'll take the conditioning guy.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'll jump in on that next. I think, he was just a brute that year, man. He was just mean out there on the mat, hand fight dudes to death, keep going, didn't stop. And I mean, still to this day, this dude's out there scrapping with all the college guys and just annihilating them in the room all the time. And he hasn't changed a bit, but this guy was unbelievable, fun to watch. And he was really, I think he was underrated how good he was on top with his claw series, different things. And I'm going to give it to Reeder.
Yeah, so for me, the thing that kind of pops in my head when I'm deciding here is trying to determine which year Chris Perry this is. And I think the answer kind of differs for me depending on which one it is. And this one is the one that he beat Matt Brown in the finals, right? So this is his first national title. With that being said, I think personally I would have leaned more Chris Perry if it was the second title when he beat Howe. But since it's the first one, I think I'm also going to lean John Reeder on this. But I'm interested to hear everybody else. So Earl, what are you thinking?
Yeah, man. Reeder had a close match with I think Chris Henrik in the semifinals, but other than that, he was pretty dang dominant, throughout the tournament. Perry was kind of getting by these guys, and I don't know, maybe he had a deeper weight class with all these Big Ten guys that were always there at 174 at that point. But they both were kind of monsters on the mat. Seth mentioned with the claw for Reeder, and Perry would just grind guys into the mat, the leg ride. But I do think that Reeder's pace would probably be the difference, and I'm going to take him.
Jack, what are you feeling?
I got Reeder as well. I think I was thinking, and it was the Andrew Howe year, and I feel like Reader and Howe kind of have similar styles, similar body builds. So I think I'd have gone Perry there, but a younger Perry. John Reader was a tough guy. I'm sure Seth has a boatload of stories about him, but I got one, so I'm just gonna say it
Let's
because I
hear
love
it.
my
I love
stories.
John Reader stories.
When Keegan was in college, my brother, he said there was only one guy that he was ever afraid of wrestling, and that was John Reader, because this guy would warm up before his matches for like 3 hours straight. And it was like terrifying to Keegan. He was like, if this guy can warm up for 3 hours and then go out and wrestle as hard as he does, like he's a psychopath. Like I don't want to deal with that.
He's still a wild man. He's still waking up like right now with everything going on. This dude's waking up at like 5 a.m., getting his workout in, freaking gets on a call, gets another workout in. This dude works out like freaking 4 times a day, and this dude is unreal, man.
Yeah.
Still different for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, for me, like you're saying, I think it does make a difference in the year for Chris Perry. I know I talk about it kind of all the time, but I love Ryan Warner's podcast, Wrestling Saved My Life, and Chris Perry was on, and that might actually be my favorite podcast of any of all time. I loved listening to it, but when I looked at this match, the first thing that kind of went through my head was listening to Chris Perry himself talk. Talked about when he won this title. It was kind of like, he was training hard, and obviously this was the goal, but it was almost like it was kind of on autopilot for him, and he just kind of went out there and did his thing, and it happened. And whereas the next year when he had Andrew Howe, it was kind of like almost a Vision Quest kind of deal. Like the dude was not going to lose, was not going to be denied. He had something to like really push him and like drive him. And that's why I think it's a little bit different for me there. But John Reader wins the match either way. And we will move on to 184 pounds, where we have a battle of Nittany Lions, Ed Ruth versus Quentin Wright. This one had to go down in the practice room about every day there for a span of a couple of years. But we'll go ahead and tell you a little bit about these guys, and we'll kick it off with Ed Ruth.
All right, so this is Ed Ruth's junior year. So he's a 3-time All-American, 2-time NCAA champion. He beat in the quarterfinals Josh Einen of Nebraska 11-1, Steve Bozak, the returning champion, 4-1 in the semis, and then Robert Hamlin 12-4 in the finals. Hamlin was a runner-up, I think, in 2011 as well, losing to Wright. Ruth had a 68-match winning streak at the end of this year, and he also won his 3rd Southern Scuffle title.
Not bad. On the other end of things, Seth, tell us about Quentin Wright in 2011.
Yep, so Quentin Wright was a sophomore in 2011. So he was his freshman year. He wasn't a starter originally. Whoever was the starter ended up getting injured. He stepped in and got the job done. All-American as a freshman, won it his 2nd year, and this is the year he beat Hamlin in the finals, and then he beat Grant Gambrill in the semis. So this is his sophomore season.
Awesome. I mean, I'm interested to hear what you guys got to say about this one, but I mean, I think that for me, it's definitely Ed Ruth for me. He's just generational talent, one of the best to ever do it. I don't want to say he was kind of like outshined, because he obviously wasn't, but the reason he doesn't have a Hodge is because David Taylor was there at the same time and won the Hodge the year they were both just incredible. I mean, they're both incredible for several years, but I think just Ed Ruth is just one of the best to ever do it, and I'm definitely going to go Ed Ruth. But I'll kick it to Jack. Let's hear what do you got to say?
Whenever I think of Ed Ruth, I think the only other athlete that I can compare to him is like Magic Johnson, and how smooth he was, and how just like, I mean, if you think of Ed Ruth, you just think of that misdirection, people falling on their face. He gets in on legs without guys touching him. Just something else to watch. He was just magic, really, really inspiring to watch. So technical, so smooth. I got Ruth by bonus here. I got him by a major.
Yeah, I think I could be on with that. Real quick, did you just compare a wrestler to a basketball player?
Yeah, I did.
That's
And
a sin.
I'm not shamed.
We'll skate on past that one.
I like it. The Magic Johnson of wrestling.
He's the Magic Johnson of wrestling.
Hey,
He is so smooth.
hey,
So
call you a
technical.
shot. All right, Earl, what are you thinking?
Yeah, this year when Quentin Wright won, he was really beat up earlier in the year. He had a lot of shoulder injuries, which led to a bunch of losses and stuff. Even I think he had the big shoulder wrap in the NCAA tournament. So I don't know. I don't see anybody staying within a. I don't want to say anybody, but I'll say I don't think Wright stays within major decision of Ed Ruth at this point.
Yeah. Sam, what do you think about these guys here?
Yeah, I was gonna compare him to Jaden Cox. I thought they wrestled both kind of overlooked for how good they were. But Quentin Wright, you can't ever count that guy out either. He just found a way. Speaking of overlooked, Quentin Wright, I felt like was overlooked every year and found his way back every year. That said, I got Ed Ruth winning it. I wasn't thinking by a major, but I forgot Quentin Wright was hurt. If there was a time Ed Ruth would do it, that would be it.
Yeah, for sure. And Seth, what are you feeling?
Yeah, I'm on board. Bonus points for Ed Ruth in the match.
All right, so Ed Ruth by major. Sounds good to me. Cool. So we got a major decision for Ed Ruth over Quentin Wright, and we will move on to see yet again Quentin Wright in a different year, different team. But the 2013 Quentin Wright versus 2011 Dustin Kilgore. This one's fun to talk about as well because we have actually seen this match. Not only have we seen it, but it was a national final. But obviously these two different years, they were – it wasn't this year, or it was 2 different years. So fun stuff to talk about. But 2013 Quentin Wright, let us know a little bit about where he was at in 2013, Earl.
All right, so this was his only year at 197. He went 32-0 in the NCAAs. He pinned Scott Schiller in the quarters. He beat Matt Wilps of Pitt in tiebreakers in the semis, then beat Kilgore 8-6 in the finals. This was his 4th time AAing. He went 6-1, 2-1, and he was 116-23 for his career.
All right, on the flip side, Dustin Kilgore, Seth.
So this is Dustin Kilgore's. He had kind of weird. Did he do his red shirt late or middle of his career or something?
Yeah, I think this was an Olympic red shirt in 2012 he took.
Yeah, that's right. So this is the year he won nationals. He was the 4 seed going in, and he knocked off Cam Simez in a crazy match, 10-9 in the semifinals, and went on to win it. I think he was a 2-time AA, or was he a 2-time champ at this point?
No, he had just won it once.
Or 2-time All-American.
2-time All-American.
I bet. But yeah, so he's 2-time All-American, and then this is the year he beat Cam Simez.
Yeah. For me, I mean, it's even with the years, I don't really think that makes a difference because, 2013, we actually saw this match in the finals. Quentin Wright kind of picked him apart, just underhooks for days. And, 2011, Kilgore did win the championship, but he also, took an Olympic red shirt in 2012. You got to imagine he got even better over that year. And then came back and took that loss to Quentin Wright. So I'm gonna stick with the win for Quentin Wright by just decision because it was I believe it was 8-4 right in that match.
8-6.
8-6. Okay, so I'm gonna go decision for Quentin Wright. Earl, what are you thinking?
Yeah, it's hard to actually unsee the match that they wrestled together. I think if most people, especially at the time, saw these two guys on their own, they would have picked Kilgore to win, but it was just a horrible style matchup. Kilgore was just all in your face, action, pressure, and those underhooks you mentioned with Wright just kind of picked him apart.
Yeah. Also, I think there's a lot of guys you kind of think back and you're like, these guys are like the Mr. March guys of certain years. I think he was definitely a guy that just turned it on at the end of the year, in the tournament. So hard to pick against him. But Seth, what are you thinking?
Yeah, I'm on board with Quentin Wright. I think Kilgore got better after that, and he beat him in 2013. So I think I got to go Quentin Wright here.
Awesome. Jack?
Yeah, Quentin Wright for sure.
And Sam?
I got Quentin Wright. Although Dustin Kilgore was a blast to watch, man. That dude was exciting and a character. He was a lot of fun. I always liked going on trips with him. He had a crazy, he did, and maybe the Earl, maybe you remember, like a reach back. He just reached back like you're not supposed to do and put everybody on their back with it. It was the craziest, like slow-mo side roll switch thing. Crazy, and he hit it on everybody. So I'd never count him out of a match, but I have Quentin Wright also.
He also like sat on people's chests to pin them. I don't know if y'all remember that, but isn't that how he pinned Clayton Foster that year? He just like sat on his chest in the middle of a scramble and stuck him.
Yeah.
Hey, man.
Whatever works.
I've got a good Kilgore story too. So the first time I was at the OTC, I was in middle school or going into high school, and I was wrestling there with like their junior program, and we played handball, and he was a resident athlete there, and they play handball like tackle handball.
Yeah.
And so I had the ball, and he came at me and just trucked me, and I was like, I'm done. I'm out. Help me out. It
Funny.
was like below 100 pounds at that point. He was gigantic.
Yeah, I think I was a little scared of him growing up, man. I think it was his name, and then he was just a freaking scary dude.
Yeah.
It's like Kilgore. I was like, oh, geez.
Man. All right. Well, Quentin Wright takes the win there. Moving down to 285 pounds, Tony Nelson of Minnesota versus Zach Ray of Lehigh. This is another one that we have seen also in the NCAA finals. I'm correct on that one, right? I'm not losing my mind. But 2013, Tony Nelson. Earl, kick it off.
It's his sophomore year, Tony Nelson. He was seventh as a freshman. He was a 2 seed this year, went 32-2. His NCAA tournament was a quarterfinal win over Gerard Trice, 1-0, semi over Alan Galagayev, 5-4, and then he beat Mike McMullen 6-2 in the final. He also beat McMullen in the Big Ten finals.
All right, Zach Ray, Seth.
He's a 3-time All-American. He got third, second, and first. This is his senior year, and he beat Don Bradley and Ryan Flores this year. And so him and Nelson did wrestle before. I think that's a big thing to look at here. So
yeah, so I was right on that. Tony Nelson beat him in the finals one year, right?
Yeah, I think the year he
the
got
finals.
second.
Okay. Yeah. So I actually, I can't remember that match too well. Does anybody remember watching that and kind of how that went down?
Got the score.
I mean, I'll say we're kind of spoiled right now with some of the heavyweights that, your Kyle Snyders, your Gable Stevensons, your athletic guys, where, these were kind of bigger guys that didn't have a whole lot of action going on. No offense to either one. They're both great wrestlers, but.
Yeah. What'd you say the score was, Jack?
4-1.
4-1. Yeah, I mean, I'll just go ahead and kick it off. Tony Nelson, he was. Yeah, I think you hit the nail right on the head. With these heavyweights are getting a lot more athletic, and we're definitely spoiled with these recent guys being able to watch. Guys like, Mason Paris, Gable Stevenson. Even Tony Cassiope is kind of a more athletic heavyweight than the norm back then. But Tony Nelson, just a giant man, was good on top. He's still wrestling. I don't think he'll ever quit. He might wrestle till he's like 50 years old, and still beat all the best guys. I mean, he beat Gable, last year, the year before? So I'm going to stick Tony Nelson by decision.
Hey, Jacob.
Yeah.
That won't happen again this year. Gable will be our guy.
I didn't say it would happen again. But it is an undeniable fact that it did happen at one point.
I've got Tony Nelson in this as well.
Yeah, me too.
All right. Sam, what are you thinking?
I got Tony Nelson. I always thought that guy was going to win. Zach Ray, I never thought would win. To his credit, he always found a way to get in there. And every time I thought, not this time. And then he would win. But Tony Nelson all day.
Yeah. Same for you, Earl.
Yeah, I'll give you a fun fact about Zach Ray. I believe that this year he lost in the EIWA finals, so he's the most recent guy to lose his conference tournament but still be the number 1 seed. But sign me up for Tony Nelson.
So he was still the number 1 seed, even losing his finals. Oh, wow.
That's crazy. I don't think that really ever happens just because the biggest criteria is your conference finish for seeding.
Yeah, I think they probably changed it and weighed it more since then.
Yeah, for
That's
sure.
great.
But Tony Nelson, by decision, moves on for 2013. And we'll skip back around to the top. This one's definitely going to be a lot of fun to talk about. Jesse Delgado of Illinois versus Anthony Robles of Arizona State. Man, I don't even know where to start there. So let's kick it off. Seth, tell us about Anthony Robles.
So this is Anthony Robles' senior year. He was a 3-time All-American. This is when he beat Matt McDonough in the finals pretty handedly. And his senior year, he was 36-0. He had 31 out of his 36 matches were bonus points. So he was on fire his senior year and was not going to be stopped.
For sure. That was a very, very close Hodge race with who won this? That was Jordan Burroughs. Very, very close Hodge race there. A lot of people argue that Robles should have won it. But on the other end of things, Earl, tell us about Jesse Delgado.
All right, this is sophomore year Jesse Delgado. He was 7th as a freshman. His NCAA tournament path beat Nathan Kreiser 10-7 in the quarters, Nishon Garrett 10-5 in the semis, and then Nico Megaluda 7-4 for the championship. He also beat McDonough in the Big Ten finals, was 30-2 and 3rd at the Midlands.
Awesome. Man, I don't even know where to start here. I'm going to start us off with a little guy. All right, Sam, tell us, what are you feeling with these two guys?
I'm going Anthony Robles. He figured it out that year. His freshman year, I want to say, was my senior year, and he might have been one of the only freshmen I had a game plan for, because you had to be ready for him. You had to have some kind of game plan, and that was when he was a freshman. I can't imagine his senior year, and the difference between his junior and senior year was unreal. That Anthony, he figured that out earlier. He would have won it every year. I mean, you look down in that picture. He's a giant. His arms, his hands were so big. Once he figured out how to kind of play defense until he got his hands on you, oh my goodness. And Jesse Delgado, so fast, and his technique unbelievable. But that matchup, I think, is really good for Anthony and not so good for Jesse.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I think matchup-wise, this would be a terrible matchup for Delgado. I think that his scrambles and stuff won't work well against Robles. Robles was so strong. As soon as he gets a hold of you, it was hard to get away, scramble around from him, and got to go Robles on this one.
For sure. Jack, what about you?
Yeah, I mean, Robles was unstoppable this year. I think just what he did to McDonough in the finals is like pretty much unheard of. No one's ever beaten McDonough that bad. So although Delgado is amazing, I think that he plays more to people like, I don't know. He needs to scramble more, and I think Robles is just too big, too strong to scramble with. So I'll go Robles.
Yeah, I 100% agree. Same thing. I think that Delgado really does thrive in those scramble situations and those leg passes and off of other people's shots. And I don't see him being able to get to his positions with Robles. So I'm going to go Delgado as well. And Earl, what do you think?
Yeah, one thing I think I heard McDonough say one time was that Robles, and this was kind of like what Sam said, you needed to have one match against Robles to kind of just get a feel for him. So just in a one-match setting, they've never met before, I have a hard time seeing Delgado beating him.
Yeah. Are we all on just a decision here?
Yeah.
I was thinking more myself, but
yeah, man, that's something you're watching all these guys being a fan of the sport. There's certain guys that I would love to be able to wrestle just to feel certain situations. And Anthony Robles is definitely one where I want to know what that tilt is like. You know, he hit it on everybody, and I really would want to know what that feels like coming from him, because I think it's just a place where he's just so positionally strong. And yeah, that's really good tilt, man. But 133 pounds, this one is a lot of fun and has a lot of controversy surrounding it. But we'll get started with it. 2013 Logan Stieber versus 2011 Jordan Oliver. Earl, kick us off with Logan Stieber in 2013.
All right, this is Logan Stieber's sophomore year. He went 27-0, won his second of 4 national titles. In the quarters, he teched Cody Brewer 17-1. He teched AJ Shop 18-2 in the semis, and then beat Ramos 7-4 in the finals. Also beat Ramos in the Big Ten finals, and was the OW at Cliff Keen.
You just casually text those two guys on the way to the finals. That's insane. Jordan Oliver, tell us about him, Seth.
This was also Jordan Oliver's sophomore season. He was 29-0 on the year. He's a 2-time All-American at this point. He had 24 out of his 29 matches ended in bonus points. This is the year he beat Tyler Graff in the semis, and then he beat Andrew Hawkstresser in the finals.
Mm-hmm.
So that's sophomore year versus sophomore year here.
All right, so before we even get into our picks, I got to ask, all right, we got to go around and say, was it a takedown or not? I know it's a different year, 2012. Was it a takedown or not? Should Stieber have won or should Jo have won? What do you guys think? I'll start off with Seth.
Don't start with me. Dude. I'm gonna get fired up.
I'll start. It was the right call. His head was in the middle. At that point in time, your head had to be on the outside. And it wasn't 2. It was the right call. As much control as he had, the rules were wrong, and it's the rules' fault. But that wasn't 2. His head was in the middle.
Yeah. Sam, how about you?
I thought it was 2.
Yeah.
I remember watching it and thinking he had 2. But it was close enough. There's a reason it's debated to this day.
Yeah. I can see both angles of it. I mean, I think that the rules are obviously the biggest factor in this, but like for me, it's 2, man. It's got to be a takedown. But I 100% like if that's the way that the rules should have scored it, that's the way the rules should have scored it. But dude, that's a takedown 9 times out of 10 in a year. Earl, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, just watching it, I thought it was a takedown, but, knowing how the rules were applied at the time, I do think it was the correct call for the time. I'm glad the rules been changed since. And the guy who made the call in the match, Virginia native Mike McCormick.
Yeah, his son's my teammate.
Yep.
He said that they've gotten like hate mail for it. People have like been real pissed about it.
Man. Seth, are you able to talk about this, or should we move on?
Oh, man, this one hurt me, man. I was a huge Jordan Oliver fan, and this one freaking broke my heart. And I thought it was 2 all day. I freaking was ready to go run down and fight the ref at the time, but nothing we can do. Jordan Oliver got
send
back up
hate mail.
What's that?
Did you send some hate mail?
It was from Seth.
Oh man. All right. Well, let's get into this specific matchup then. 2011 Jordan Oliver, 2013 Logan Stieber. Which way are we leaning on this one, Jack? What are you thinking?
Oh, I mean, I don't know.
I'll start. I got Stieber. I think he wins more times than not. You put them together 10 in a row, I got Stieber winning more.
Yeah.
Love Oliver. He's fun to watch, but man, it's hard to go against Stieber. Dude was
sure.
good.
Man, I can't pick against Jordan Oliver. I think there's a better argument for Stieber, but just Jo found a. I mean, obviously didn't find a way in 2012, I guess, but Jordan Oliver for me, man. I got no argument to back that up because the numbers look like they favor Stieber and just how dominant he was. But Jo freaking could move and do things that nobody else could do.
Yeah. Earl, what do you think?
I really want to pick Jordan Oliver based on 2012, but just looking, like Seth said, looking at those results from those previous matches within the semis and quarters against those studs, it's really hard to argue with Stieber, and I would pick Stieber at this point.
Yeah, I'm gonna follow suit here and pick Logan Stieber. Just I think that he got so much better as the years went on. And with that being such a close match that year, another year under his belt, Logan Stieber, teching guys like AJ Shop in the semifinals. I'm gonna go Stieber here.
But even this year, it was like controversial in his win with Tony Ramos. Like
the cradle.
Ramos had him on his back, and there was no points. I think that changes the match. I'm gonna go Jo because in 2012, Jo had a win over Stieber, like during the regular season as well, and so. I mean, although Stieber's a 4-time NCAA champ, I don't know. Jo's right there. I mean, stud, absolutely unreal. So.
All right. Well, 3-2. Logan Stieber, super close vote, but Logan Stieber edges him out again in another controversial win. But 141 pounds, Kendrick Maple versus Kellen Russell. So. Seth, kick us off. Kellen Russell.
So Kellen Russell is a junior this year. At this point in time, he was a 2-time All-American, 1-time NCAA champ. And that year at NCAAs, he beat Montel Marion in the ultimate tiebreakers in the semis. And then he beat Boris Nikot. How do you say that? Boris
Novachkov.
Novachkov. 3-2 in the finals.
All right. And then on the other end, Kendrick Maple, Earl.
All right. Kendrick Maple, he was a junior this year. He was the 2 seed. He finished undefeated 31-0. Quarters, he beat Mark Ballwig 12-3. In the semis, he beat Ugi from, I can't pronounce the last name, from the Citadel 4-0. And he beat Mitchell Port 4-3 for the title. The 1 seed was Hunter Stieber, who Port beat in the semis. Maple also won the Midlands that year, and I think that he probably improved more than any guy on this list from freshman year to championship, because a lot of these guys were kind of superstars coming out of high school.
Yeah, man. Well, Seth, what are you thinking on this one?
I'm leaning Kendrick Maple. I think matchup wise, his athleticism and his ability in different positions was just unreal, and I think Kendrick Maple's length would play a factor in this match.
Yeah. Sam.
Oh, Kendrick Maple all day, and I am happily biased. I've wrestled a lot of guys over the years, and Kendrick Maple is the only one that when he was on, it didn't matter if I was on, like I couldn't touch him. I couldn't get to a leg, not even getting close to finishing. I couldn't get any kind of offense going. I would get so frustrated. I'd be yelling at Coach Leitner, just like, put me with somebody else. This isn't helping my training. I can't even touch the guy. It was unreal when he was on. And then, senior year, he had some kind of weird stomach issue. Watch matches, wrestling on a knee. Like, he didn't do that. He couldn't even stand up during matches. Man, I can't explain how good that guy got. It was unreal. Kendrick Maple all day.
Has anybody here ever wrestled Kellen Russell? Or no? Not looking like it. Yeah. All right. So, Earl, what do you think?
Yeah, man, it's always hard to pick against Kellen Russell just because he had just a ridiculous record in close matches, overtime, sudden victory. But I like what Seth said about the length. I think that would make a difference, and I think he probably has too much offense for Russell.
All right. So that, I guess, who are we missing? Seth?
No, me.
Nope. Jack.
I've got Kendrick Maple as well. I just remember that year he was pretty dominant, undefeated season. Apparently, I just read that 6 out of these 2013 NCAA champs were all undefeated. So it was just a dominant year. But Kendrick Maple was he just crushed people, and he was huge 141.
Yeah. All right. Well, I sorry, I gotta go Kellen Russell. I know it's already decided, but I'm gonna throw my vote for Kellen Russell. Just the dude was amazing, and I think that he's kind of overlooked a little bit, and how good he was for those 2 years. But Kendrick Maple moves on for 2013, picking up the win. And we'll jump into yet another Jordan Oliver match. So 149 pounds. In 2013, we have J.O. versus 2011, Kyle Dake. So let's start this one off. 2013, Jordan Oliver Earl.
All right, so this is his only year at 149, jumps up 2 weight classes. He went undefeated 41-0. In the quarters, he beat Jake Soufflon 11-3. Semis, he beat Steve Santos 14-3. In the finals, he beat Jason Chamberlain 3-2. He won the scuffle. He was 4-time All-American, going 4-1, 2-1. And he is Oklahoma State's all-time leader in bonus point percentage with 77% and falls with 54%.
Man. Wow. All right, Kyle Dake, Seth.
So this was sophomore Kyle Dake, 2-time NCAA champ at the time. He was 31-2 on the season. At nationals, he was the 4th seed going in. He ended up beating, so Grajales got knocked off. He was the 1 seed. He got knocked off in the quarters. And then Kyle Dake beat Sanja. And then he beat Frank Molinaro in the finals. Pretty dominant win in the finals, but before that, he had some pretty close matches.
Yeah, this is like, I was thinking the other day, and I was trying to think of, other things that we could do on the show and different matchups and all that kind of stuff. And this is one that popped in my head immediately that I would love to have seen. Like, I would absolutely have loved to see these two dudes throw down, this weight or right around this weight. And just, it's offense versus defense here, man. I mean, just crazy offense from J.O. Dake, one of the hardest dudes to score on, doesn't ever really get scored on. And so it's just, it kind of depends on which way you want to lean, offense or defense here for me. But Sam, what do you think about this one?
Man, I didn't know that about Oliver. But I think Dake. It's hard to go against college Dake. And I will say, I had this argument, guys, all the time, but we'll see a 4-timer undefeated before we see somebody else win 4 at 4 different weights. And I have a hard time going against Dake. His defense, so hard to score on, and Oliver's a offensive wizard. He's as good a technician as they come. But, man, Dake just shut people down. He was good at it. So I'm going to go Dake, but this is one of the harder ones to choose for sure.
Yeah. Jack, what do you think?
I got Dake.
Oof. All right, let me jump in here before y'all jump on board with Dake, man. This is Jordan Oliver all day. Dake had 2 losses on the year. The weight wasn't honestly that deep. I mean, Darian Caldwell going out in the nationals or in the first round at nationals was a huge. I mean, I think Dake loses if Darian Caldwell keeps going. But Dake lost twice that year. Jordan Oliver was unstoppable that year. He had some close matches, but this is senior Jordan Oliver right here. He's a 2-time national champ, 4-time All-American. And I think he's so good at quick takedowns that he'd be able to get some quick takedowns on Dake if it's a slide by, if it's a quick finish. And he's taking Dake out for sure. Sophomore Dake he takes out.
I 100% agree with you. I'm going to go J.O. here as well. I think that the different years of Kyle Dake would sway me different ways, right? I think that if you're talking junior, senior year Dake, I might be going the other way. Just that level of dominance that he had later in his career. But this year, like you said, he had 2 losses, and he had a lot of close matches, and J.O. was just destroying people. I mean, he was unstoppable. And so I'm gonna favor the offense here. I think it's a close match, but when it's so close, I'm taking the offensive wizard over here, and I think J.O. is gonna edge him out by a point or 2. So I got Jordan Oliver, and we're gonna leave it to Earl to decide.
That's convenient. You did that. All right. Well, I go J.O.
Wow.
From what you guys are saying, I mean, sophomore year Kyle Dake, he was beatable. He lost in the EIWA finals. Oliver was on a different level. He had a guy in the final that was pretty defensive, and Chamberlain himself, not the level of Dake, but he managed to get it done in the last couple seconds with his little shrug that was kind of one of his trademarks. And give me J.O.
Yeah.
Let's go.
How do you guys feel about the matchup with Joe and Nolf coming up? You seen that?
You crazy.
That's gonna be
I
fun.
think that'll be interesting.
Yeah, for sure. That whole card's gonna be kind of cool. But 157 pounds, we'll move on. Derek St. John of Iowa in 2013 versus 2011, Bubba Jenkins. Seth, kick us off with Bubba Jenkins.
So this was Bubba Jenkins' senior year. He was a 2-time finalist, a 1-time champ. This is the year he pinned David Taylor in the finals. And, yeah, he had a great year that year.
2013, Earl, for Derek St. John.
Derek St. John was a junior this season. He went 4th and 2nd the previous 2 seasons. He was 31-2 in the quarters. He beat Josh Demas 4-0. Semis, Alex Deeringer 3-2 in tiebreakers, and then in the finals, Jason Welsh 3-2. St. John was also 3rd in the Big Ten this year. He lost to James Green in the semis.
And yeah, just a common matchup right away. Bubba Jenkins did beat Jason Welch 8-5 in the semifinals in 2011.
Yep.
Was this the year that the top 4 seeds were all undefeated, or am I just crazy thinking that? Steve Fittery, Adam Hall, David Taylor, and Bubba Jenkins.
No,
because Adam Hall was undefeated. He was the 1 seed.
Fittery was definitely undefeated.
Yeah.
Bubba lost to Hall in the Pac-12, so.
Okay.
So there's 3 undefeated.
Yeah.
I knew that there was something like that.
Was Derek St. John in that way?
Yeah, he was the 6th seed.
Yep.
He took 4th.
Mm-hmm. He got beat 13-1 by Steve Fittery.
Yeah.
The 3rd.
And Jason Welch knocked off Adam Hall in 2011.
Man. So which way are you guys leaning on this one? Sam, what do you think about this matchup?
Man, this was the one that I had a question mark by. Bubba was explosive, but I remember thinking I thought Taylor would beat him. I thought Taylor was better. And then Derek St. John, I love the way that guy wrestles. He's in all of his matches. He's always fighting. If I had to choose, I'm probably going Bubba, but I could be easily swayed because Derek's he doesn't have a bad match. Bubba had bad matches now and then. Derek's always in the fight. But if I had to choose, I'm probably going Bubba, though.
All right. Yeah, I'm going to go the other way. I'm going to take Derek St. John. I think, like you're saying, it's a super close match. It's hard to pick one way or the other. But I'm really going to stick with the grinder and St. John. And we'll kick it on to somebody else to talk a little bit more about it.
I'll jump in there. So Derek St. John was actually my favorite dude growing up. Like, I loved watching him, loved his style, loved what he did. He made the finals on a bum knee one year, which was crazy impressive. But with that being said, I'm going to go Bubba Jenkins because, right, they both wrestled the same dude in the finals. Bubba Jenkins pins him, and Derek St. John lost to him. And I think you got to go Bubba Jenkins.
Yeah. All right, Earl, what do you think?
Man, I love Bubba Jenkins, Virginia guy. I watched him wrestle since he was probably 7th grade, I think. So I'm slightly biased here. I do think that if this match were to be wrestled 10 times, St. John would probably win 4 times. But I don't know. You put Bubba on the big stage. I feel like he thrives in that environment, and I could see him pulling out just one single match.
Thrives in that environment, except if the man across from him is Brent Metcalf.
Well, he had a great match in this. That's another. You want to look at Darian Caldwell matches when he beat Caldwell in the 2008 semis. That was a heck of a match.
Yeah, I'm thinking more of the was it 2009 Big Ten championships with Brent Metcalf and Bubba Jenkins.
I think he was hurt and then went 0-2 at nationals in the couple weeks after that. But
dude, that was a beatdown though.
It was ugly. It was
bad. But all right, so Jack, what do you think?
Oh, I got Bubba. Jacob loves Iowa, man. Jude loves Penn State and Jacob loves Iowa. I'm happy that I'm on this show to bring them down a few notches.
No, come on. I think it's a close match, and I like the more grinding style. But also, I was a gigantic David Taylor fan that first year. I actually went to Penn State camp the summer before, and he was my counselor for the whole week. And so I was just pulling for him so hard. I loved him, and your man Bubba Jenkins pinned him. So call me salty, whatever, but the vote wouldn't have mattered if I went any other way. So Bubba Jenkins wins this match, unfortunately, and we'll move to the main event of the duel, 165 pounds. This is the one that garnered so much attention on FRL when both these guys joined the show to talk about this exact match. 2013 Kyle Dake versus 2011 Jordan Burroughs. I went back and forth thinking about this for the past 24 hours, and I still don't know what I'm picking either. So we'll kick it to Earl. Tell us a little bit about 2013 Kyle Dake and his historic career.
All right, you guys all know the 4 titles, 4 years. This is a senior year. He beats Nick Solzer 13-0 in the quarters. Then Tyler Caldwell 2-0 in the semis, and David Taylor 5-4 in the finals. He beat Taylor at the Southern Scuffle that year, and they also wrestled in the All-Star match, which was unofficial, but Dake won in, I think, tiebreakers there as well.
Yeah. And then on the other end of things, Jordan Burroughs, 2011, Seth, fill us in for that.
So he was a 2-time champ, undefeated champ these last 2 years. He was unbelievable. He bonus point his way through the NCAA tournament, beating Colt Spawnseller in the semis, and then 11-3 over Tyler Caldwell. Andrew Howe was in that bracket, and Jordan Burroughs goes on to make a team right out of college and win a world championship. And yeah, that's Jordan Burroughs.
Absolutely. And these not only are these two just capping off historic careers, they're some of the best to ever do it. They're both Hodge Trophy winners in this duel. So Jack, I'm gonna give you the task of starting it off first for us.
Oh, man, I am about to make myself look so bad here, but I think Kyle Dake is the GOAT of college wrestling. I've said it. I stick to it. But maybe that's purely based on accolades, because I'm going Burroughs here, because Burroughs won a world title right out of college, and Dake didn't make the team because of Burroughs. So, I mean, even though it's freestyle, I think that freestyle and folk style are very similar. Would the top game of Dake neutralize Burroughs? Maybe. I mean, he was like one of the best top wrestlers ever. Maybe.
I think that's one thing I remember when they talked a little bit. Jordan Burroughs said nobody held him down ever. So I also don't think he ever wrestled anybody that was just maybe as good as Kyle Dake was on top. But
yeah, there's no way.
He also, in that whole argument, several times said that he wouldn't take down, or he wouldn't have to take down. He kept talking about not taking down and being able to win. And so I definitely think he's obviously confident in himself, but like just the fact of him saying like, "Oh, I don't need to take down. I wouldn't take down." That kind of tells me that I think Kyle Dake could have put the ride on there. So Jack, did you go with Burroughs?
I'm Burroughs.
I'm Kyle Dake. I got Dake in a folk style match here. I think that's the biggest deal. I think folk style really does play into it here. I think on their feet, they're, similar. I think maybe you might favor Burroughs, but I can also see Dake with that incredible defense. I can see him stealing a shot too. But I think top game is the difference for me here. I think it's so close in most areas, but I can see Dake getting away from Burroughs, and I can see either him holding Burroughs down enough to get riding time, or Burroughs not even picking bottom and kind of giving away that point. So I'm gonna pick Kyle Dake here. And Seth, what do you think?
Jordan Burroughs all day, every day, man. Like, unstoppable. This dude goes on to freaking win a world title. Kyle Dake didn't even really come close to making a team right out of college. Jordan was on another level, man. And then he goes on to freaking be undefeated on the senior level for how long? I mean, this dude, and I can't unsee a freaking 7-1 record that Jordan Burroughs has over Kyle Dake. I know it's later on, but this dude was unreal, and just, yeah, I think he was unstoppable his senior year.
I absolutely love both these guys. I think they're amazing. It's so much fun to watch. But, dude, come on. Like, the reason that Kyle Dake didn't get to win a world title until later in his freestyle career, obviously because of Jordan Burroughs, but if you guys watch that Bad Blood documentary, dude, so many calls. Dake got burnt so many times, or was literally just right there so many times. And
that's the way he wrestles, though, man. That's the way he wrestles. Jordan Burroughs just lights dudes up, so we ain't got to worry about that.
I didn't realize, though, back like watching it in real time, but like watching it back, there was so many calls where the ref, I think, might have kind of swayed a certain way or whatever. I don't know. I got kind of
can't leave it up to the ref, Jacob.
No, dude,
like can't leave it up to the ref.
I actually was like 100% Burroughs, team Burroughs, and then I watched that Bad Blood, and I'm like, dude, he got burnt like several times. Like, oh man, I don't know, but all right, we got two Burroughs, and I'll kick it to Sam because I don't want to make you go last. So Sam, what do you think?
Yeah, I got Andrew Howe coming in out of nowhere and beating both of them.
Bear hug to the back.
Yeah, getting the ball. He's got wins over both of them. No, man, it is hard to go against Dake, but that was the beginning of Jordan Burroughs. I mean, he didn't lose for like 3 years. Was it 65-0 in freestyle, and no doubt he's better at freestyle, but this was junior year Burroughs. I'd have gone Dake all day. Senior year Burroughs is when he found his rhythm, and Dake didn't make the team for a while. And to be the ref's shoes, if you're gonna lean one way or another, you got the guy that's undefeated, world champ, Olympic champ. That's the way you lean. And I don't like when refs do it. I don't like the politics at all. But if it's gonna happen, that's the way it should happen. You lean toward the guy that has earned it so far. And to Jordan Burroughs' point, I think he was saying, not that he was scared of Dake, but Dake's point was he would ride everybody. He would ride them. And Jordan was saying, like, I can neutralize that right away. I take you down and have to choose down. Like, I'll take your best part out right away. And then what are you going to do? How are you going to answer if I don't choose down because I'm winning? And I think that's what would happen. On the feet, I got Burroughs. Dake could maybe ride him on top, but I don't think he necessarily has the chance. I think Jordan has no problem stealing a takedown. So I'm going to go – go ahead.
I loved the disrespect in the interview of Dake kept going. It's all right. I'd switch reversal. I'd reverse you. Yeah. It's like every time.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
You got Burroughs.
I like their confidence, but I got Burroughs. And I will say NAI has a cool rule. So we get to send 12 to nationals instead of 10. So this kind of always my example. Burroughs was the best in the world, and Dake and Taylor both behind him. And as soon as they moved to another weight, they both won a world title. And if they're NAI, both of them can wrestle, even if they're at the same weight. They don't have to be the backup to a Jordan Burroughs for college. It's a really cool rule that I wish other divisions did.
That is pretty sweet.
Yeah, we do it. They do it in the Olympics in a lot of sports. Swimming, we got first and second all the time, you know.
Mhm.
I wish they would do it in wrestling. I understand why they don't, but I wish they would. Anyway, that's a pet peeve of mine.
I think it would make for a better product, you know, for the fans.
Absolutely.
Like, because there's so many dudes, you know, you think obviously we're biased for these U.S. guys, but there's so many dudes over in Russia, you know, like they probably got 5 dudes on their team that could be in the finals, you know, at certain weights. Yeah. And so that would be so much fun if they would do that and just be able to watch. I mean, almost like an open world championship.
Speaking of Andrew Howe, he did it. You know, he won Tbilisi. He didn't officially win it, but the Russian was just laying on his belly for like 3 minutes, and they kept not giving him takedowns. If you've never seen that match, you should watch it. It's incredible. But yeah, Andrew Howe was easily number 2 in the world behind Jordan that year, easily.
Yeah,
we've had some unbelievable guys. It's all the more why I got Burroughs. The guys that he's beat to stay number 1 is incredible.
Sure.
When I think about that, I think about like when it was the Soviet Union instead of Russia.
Yep.
Because that whole Soviet bloc, Uzbekistan, all the stands were a part of Russia. And then all those Eastern European countries were also a part of Russia. So instead of sending 20 guys, they're sending 1. And Kendall tells me that all the time when he was – because he wrestled during the fall of the Soviet Union. So he went from wrestling 1 Soviet Union guy to wrestling 10, 15, 20 Russians, you know. So it was a game changer.
Yeah. All right, well, let's end it off. Earl, who do you got in this match?
All right, so I'm not trying to throw shade necessarily. Maybe
throw the shade.
Not throw it.
So you know how everybody was criticizing The Last Dance because Michael Jordan produced that thing, or at least had some control over it. I felt like Bad Blood was had Cornell's executive producing or something, because I felt it was kind of slanted towards Kyle Dake a little bit. But that being said, I think Burroughs could kind of dictate how the match goes, getting a takedown or 2 in this particular one, and that says something because Kyle Dake is one of the greats all time of collegiate folk style.
Man.
Jacob is hurting right now.
I love it. I'm pissed. Oh my God. Whatever.
The show brings out the worst in us. It's okay.
It's the first time I'm pissed, and it's not Jack. It's usually Jack pissed every time.
Every time I walk away from the show, I'm just like enraged.
Oh, my
because
God.
Jack's usually right.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, hey. Whatever.
Seth was the one that was mad last time.
Jake's not going to invite me back.
I was mad last time. You guys kept picking against Zane, man. That was unreal.
Hey, did you guys see on Instagram, Caldwell commented on our thing, and he put Zane don't want the smoke. Like, dude, I would love to see that. But anyways, we finished this first duel, 2013 versus 2011. 2013, the 2 seed takes them out 19-12. Great match. A lot of studly matchups here, but it was a great one. And we'll go ahead. Thank you again for tuning in to the HMA Fantasy Wrestling Podcast. We had a great time recording this one and really hope that you enjoyed it. If you did, let us know. Find us on social media. Go to the Apple Podcast app and leave us a rate and review. We would love to hear from you. And we look forward to seeing you at the next podcast. So tune in and hope you enjoy it.